Hello and welcome back to Study Abroad and School Experience. In today's video, I'm going to be covering FAMU, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida. So there are 2 more days left in February, which means 2 more days are left in Black History Month. But as I've stated in the previous video, I'm still going to give you all the 17 videos from when I started on the 11th because a lot has been going on with school, and that's been causing me to be behind, and it takes a lot of time to do these videos. So yeah, and then all other videos after that related to HBCUs will happen sporadically, along with other content that's related to education resources, and things of that sort. So yeah, come and learn with me. I hope you all enjoy the video. Oh, and as always, all of the information presented in this PowerPoint was collected directly from FAMU's website, and the young lady that you all see currently, she is going to be the face of FAMU for this particular PowerPoint slide. Okay, so FAMU is known as Florida's Opportunity University. And I'm just going to provide you all with a brief history of the school. So in 1884, Thomas V.R., so 2 middle names, Gibbs, an educator and former legislator, was influential in the passage of House Bill 133 in 1884. So apparently this individual was elected to be a legislator, but then with segregation, etc., his political career ended rather quickly. So normal schools, as I've mentioned in previous videos, were institutions created to teach and educate teachers, essentially. So there were 2 schools. One was in Gainesville, but that wasn't for Black people. And then the other normal school was in Jacksonville, which was for African Americans. So FAMU was founded on October 3rd, 1887. 15 students and 2 instructors started once the school opened, and the school received funding in 1891. The State Normal College for Colored Students was a land-grant institution for African Americans, and the school's name changed to the State Normal and Industrial College for Colored Students, and colored was terminology used for Black people, African Americans in the United States for some time, and then of course things change. However, in some countries they still use the word colored, but it's spelled differently and it means different things, and I'm pretty sure it's like a different racial ethnic group in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, but that has nothing to do with this video, just saying. Okay, FAMU became an institution of higher education in 1905 and 1909. The name changed to Florida Agricultural and Mechanical College for Negroes. Again, this is terminology, racial terminology, that was used to describe Black people. And then the acronym for this college was FAMC. In 1910, the student population increased and the first degrees were awarded. The college expanded into a 4-year degree granting institution under the president of the university, Nathan B. Young, the administration of John R.E.L. Sr. So he had a few names, but I just shortened it to that. but this individual is seen as being the person responsible for the school's current academic and physical reputation or environment. And then in 1949, under William H. Gray Jr., the school expanded. So why choose FAMU? Well, it's the #1 HBCU for research and development. It's an 1890 land-grant institution. So they promote or state that it's a student-centered environment. Faculty is committed to educating students, which is important. FAMU produces globally competitive graduates. The incoming class or incoming freshman class, they had an overall GPA of 3.67 and a 23 on their ACT score, which is, I think, pretty good, pretty competitive. The retention rate is 82%. Acceptance rate is 30%. So it's a Fulbright HBCU institutional leader. A third of the summer and fall incoming students majored in STEAM fields. So not STEM fields, because STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and the STEAM fields is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So this acronym includes arts, whereas the STEM doesn't include arts. Anyway, this institution and its educators believes in scholarship excellence, openness, fiscal responsibility, so money, accountability, collaboration, diversity, services, fairness, courage, integrity, respect, freedom, ethics, etc., etc. So they enroll approximately 10,000 students from across the U.S. In more than 70 countries. It's the highest, well, it has been the highest ranked public HBCU for 3 consecutive years. They have 23 degree programs that are ranked in the top 10, 13 in terms of social mobility. It was ranked 104 in 2022, and I've heard pretty good things about FAMU, and alumni are very proud to be a Rattler. That's their mascot. And the young ladies that you see in the image, I collected it from the school's website, but in this instance, we're gonna state that they're considering, attending this institution, and they've signed up for some stuff. Essentially, that's not what the image actually depicts, but that's the purpose that it plays for this particular slide. Anyway, so in terms of academic life, instead of listing the majors by undergraduate and graduate, because it's a pretty big school and it's a lot, and it took me a few days to put this together because I didn't do it all in one shot. I split it up and then I finished today. Obviously, I list certain majors by school, and then you'll see if it's a Bachelor of Science, a Master of Science, if it's a graduate degree like a Master of Science, and then a PhD, a Doctor of Philosophy, which is the highest degree that you can get, etc., etc., etc. Please excuse the background noise. This girl had COVID, but I guess she's feeling better and her homies on the scene. Anyway, these are some of the majors offered under the College of Agricultural and Food Sciences. And this woman in the picture, she is representing this school. This image is not from the school's website. It's a stock image from our computer. So plant science, soil and water, food science, animal science industry, agribusiness, animal science. So if you want to be a veterinarian, etc. I won't go through everything. The College of Education. So you can obtain a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, You can be a music teacher, secondary education, counselor education, but that's a graduate degree. Curriculum and instruction, graduate degree. Sports management, graduate degree. Secondary education science, education history, and political science. So it cut off the thing once I changed it to this format. And of course, the individual on the right is representing an educator educating the student. So they created this contraption. It looks like the motive from a fan. So the College of Law. The young lady was featured on FAMU's website, so she's now featured here to represent the College of Law. So for law school, they have a full-time day program, and then there's a part-time evening program. And if you do full-time day, it's fall and spring semester. Part-time evening is fall, spring, and summer sessions, and it's split by certain things, and there's certain things that you can do. The biggest difference outside of time in terms of how long you have to complete it would be, from what I've seen, is the fact that if you're a full-time student, it states that you cannot work more than 20 hours per week per the American Bar Association rules. I didn't see that for those who are part-time evening students. So yeah. Academic life, College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, Institute of Public Health. So these are the degree programs that they offer. A doctor of pharmacy degree, pre-pharmacy program, public health. There's 2 graduate programs, and then the second one is obviously the DRPhD, receiving a doctorate degree. This individual is a pharmacist, graduate of FAMU, because he was on the website, and now he's featured here. College of Science and Technology. So there's different things that they offer in the different colleges, which is interesting, the way that they decided to set it up. But you have physics, applied physics, chemistry, biochemistry, and then they separate the pre-med and pre-dentistry by major. So some institutions, my old school for example, initially didn't have, my undergraduate institution didn't have a pre-med, etc., etc. So if you intended to be pre-med, pre-pharmacy, pre-dentistry, whatever, then you had to either major in biology or chemistry, and then take the necessary core courses, science courses that you would need to move forward. I think some things have changed now, but yeah. And then they have a computer science degree, information technology, mathematical science, pure mathematics. So they break it down, cybersecurity, and he is from he's a scientist, and he's directly from FAMU's website. The College of Social Sciences, Arts, and Humanities. So you can get a degree in theater. It can be a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science, a music degree. Criminal Justice is the BCJ. Community Psychology is a graduate degree, a Master of Science. Applied Social Science, which is interesting because for the most part, if you get a graduate degree in like the social science discipline, it's like it's assumed that if you plan to do a doctorate, and that if you do plan to do a doctorate, you plan to teach. I want to let you know I'm currently a second-year doctoral research student, and teaching is not in my trajectory. Why? Because I don't want to be a professor. What I do, what I've been learning, I want to apply it, which is why I said the Applied Social Science MS degree, although this is a master's. Was interesting because it automatically says Applied Social Science and not like XYZ, a Master of Arts in Sociology, or a Master of Arts in Anthropology, or a Master of Science in Criminal Justice, Criminology, etc. Okay, and for psychology, they offer a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science, and this is the same thing for political science, philosophy, and religion, and history and fine arts, which is interesting. And this young lady, she is representing this school. The image that you see here was taken directly from the school's website, and of course I'm trying to feature Black students, Black educators, Black professionals, because this is about HBCUs, schools created for Black Americans, African Americans, but of course these institutions, they accept other students, but the majority and who they were created for were Black students. So I'm trying to showcase that. So if someone in the background, like the individual to the right of her is in the picture, I was trying to crop it as best as I could without cropping like certain parts of her out of the photo, because I'm trying to, showcase my folks. But anyway, this is the FAMU FSU College of Engineering. So they have a chemical and biomedical engineering degree. It's a BS or MS, non-thesis, so that means that you don't have to write a thesis. And then there's an MS, which I'm assuming you have to write a thesis, and then the PhD, because on their website they have BS, MS, non-thesis, then an MS, and then a PhD. So you have 4 options. And I'm not sure, outside of one program stating that you have to write a thesis, or it doesn't state, but it's implied that you will have to write a thesis, because the other one says non-thesis. I don't know what would be the overall difference in the program outside of that. Maybe one is more so geared towards individuals who plan to pursue a PhD in like whatever field of engineering they're interested in, and then those who do the MS non-thesis are the people who wanted to go to grad school, who want to have a graduate degree to be able to move up further in their field. And because the bachelor's degree is becoming the new high school diploma, don't argue with me, argue with your folks. Okay? Alright. The School of Oh, I paused because I thought it was wrong, but I'm right. It's the School of Allied Health Sciences. I thought it was supposed to be applied after looking, so I had to double check. But anyway, you can get a Bachelor of Science in Healthcare Management, a Healthcare Science General Bachelor of Science, a Healthcare Science Pre-Occupational Therapy BS, so Bachelor of Science, etc., etc., or then occupational therapy, a Master of Science. And then for this particular image, I looked for someone who's a therapist, so this is a stock image. And The woman with the clipboard, she's representing the occupational therapist who attended FAMU, and the person in front of her, the woman in front of her, is her client, her patient. So yeah, seems like it's a pretty interesting conversation. She's listening very in tune. They seem or appear to be relaxed based on the body language. But let me stop analyzing these images because that's not the point of this video. Okay, the School of Architecture and Engineering Technology. So they have a school related to engineering, but then this is like different type of stuff. And I guess it's because the type of engineering degrees that they have, I guess they felt as though it's better suited with architecture because it's like construction, electronic, architectural studies, facilities management. So I guess everything related to buildings, etc., etc. Maybe that's why they did it this way. And the image that you all see on the right is from the school's website. It says FAMU. Like I took a picture, cropped it, etc., etc., because this is not a lot that's here, and I wanted to cover the space to make it visually appealing and so you can see what y'all offered. Okay. The School of Business and Industry. So she's a businesswoman. I'm pretty sure I used her image before, but that doesn't matter. She can represent a businesswoman or a business student at FAMU. And then they have the professional MBA, which is a Master of Science, a Bachelor of Science. So, but it didn't say, and I didn't want to go through every degree program because the video will be entirely too long, and I'm trying to cut that. Then there's the 1-year MBA, and then there's the online MBA. So if it's easier for you to do coursework online because maybe you work full time and you don't have, online can be a bit easier to navigate depending on your schedule and depending on the coursework and depending on how the program is set up. Then there's a professional MBA, etc., etc. So under the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, I only saw 3 programs and they were all undergraduate programs. So it was a Bachelor of Science in Graphic Design, which is the young lady with the bright green hair in front of the computer screen who's designing something on a Mac PC. You see, and then journalism, you have the young lady with the red dress, natural hair, and her co-correspondent, her co-worker, who you can't see but you see a camera. She's the news lady. Remember her face. There's a Bachelor of Science in Journalism, and then you also have a Public Relations Bachelor of Science. The 2 young ladies at the bottom, they demonstrate that. So this picture is taken directly from the school's website, and each picture corresponds with the respective major. Academic life, the School of Nursing. So they have different components to this school. There's the pre-nursing program, then there's a BSN in nursing. This is for students who apply to this school and they don't have any background in nursing, just a general interest. So they will take everything or take the required courses, clinicals, and then at a certain time they'll be able to sit for the NCLEX, the RN NCLEX, which is the nursing exam. That's how you become licensed, registered. And then the RN BSN is in nursing. That one is for individuals who may be LPNs, so licensed practical nurses, or LVNs if you're in the state of California, which is a licensed vocational nurse. So you have some experience in the nursing field already, but you just want to become a registered nurse, and it's like a fast track program. But they're both Bachelor of Science, but it's geared towards a different group of people based on your previous experience, education, work history, etc. Then there's 2 different MSN degrees, then 2 certificates, and the individuals that you all see on the screen are nursing students or nursing instructor. So, and I took that directly from the school's website. So if you're interested in the nursing program at FAMU, these are the uniforms that you all will have to wear. The School of the Environment. So these are the different degrees that they offer: a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental, so a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies, a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, a Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Studies or Environmental Science potentially, and then a Master of Science in Environmental Science. Top picture is a stock image. Bottom picture are students in the School of the Environment. So now that we've gotten through all of the different graduate and undergraduate majors, consider applying. Are you a Rattler? Academic requirements. These are general because it would be too much to include every requirement for all of those different programs and schools. So freshman, you need a 3 if you're entering freshman, you need a 3.0 GPA minimum. Official transcripts from all institutions, 2 letters of recommendation, a 500-word essay, usually outlining why you would like to attend the school, what you would like to do in the future, and how that program that you're applying to is going to shape your future and help you reach your future goals. Essentially, those are the codes for the SAT or the ACT. You don't take both, you take one or the other. There's information for transfer students, international students, returning students, and graduate students. So if you're a transfer student, you need to have at least earned 12 transferable semester credits, and you need a 2.5 GPA minimum. And then there's additional requirements, which is why it says ETC for etc. International students, it says good academic standing, and of course there's additional requirements, like if you're international students, from what I've seen, for most institutions, of course, your grades and your GPA is not going to be the same as the US, so you have to get your stuff evaluated to make sure that it aligns with the requirements of each school, and they usually give you recommendations for who you could potentially go to have your academic stuff evaluated. Anyway, if you're a returning student, you need a minimum of a 2.0 GPA minimum, and you have to be in good academic standing. Graduate students, a bachelor's degree that's needed, a 3.0 GPA minimum, etc., etc., etc. And if you are a law student, you need a bachelor's degree. You have to take the LSAT, which is the law school admission test. And if you've seen Legally Blonde, Elle Woods, i.e. Reese Witherspoon, she tells you how to go about applying for law school. Okay. I didn't see the score needed for law school, but I did put the LSAT code here, and on average students had a 3.07 GPA. It didn't say that that was the required GPA. It said on average law school applicants and perhaps those who have been admitted have a 3.07 GPA minimum. Submit all transcripts from all institutions. You have to apply online. And then everyone has to apply online, whether you're a continuing education law student, non-degree seeking student, which means that you just want to take class at FAMU and then use the credit at a different institution. You have to submit your standardized test scores or admission scores, which is SAT, ACT, LSAT, etc., etc., etc. GRE, what's the other one? GMAT, and then you have to submit your GED transcript, or the if your English is not your first language, you have to take these exams and submit the score. Cost of attendance. So they do attendance based on if you're full-time, part-time, if you're in-state, live on campus, if you're in-state, live off campus, if you're in-state living with your parents, and then it's like in-state on campus with tuition differential, etc., etc. And it's the same for both undergrads and graduate students. The only difference, of course, is the price. Now, I saw that per credit hour, it says that it's 36.382. If you want to calculate it, you can, or you can just apply, get accepted, and let them provide you with a financial breakdown of how much it costs, how much it will cost to attend, and how much you will need to pay to attend this institution. I'm not going to go through all of the numbers. You can pause to read, and also as much information as I can pack in the description box is going to be in the description box, and just follow up with the admissions department as well as financial aid in terms of cost. And then some prices are based on 9 credit hours, 22 credit hours, 15 credit hours. So it just depends. And then this is additional information related to the cost for law students and for graduate students. And for each semester, the law school is pretty expensive. I mean, the school is expensive, but the law school is expensive. That's a lot of money. They had a lot of scholarships, but the most important thing under financial aid and tuition assistance scholarships is hashtag show me the money, because as I always say, make them pay for you to go to school. Education should be free. I wholeheartedly believe that. I'm not going to mention any loans in these PowerPoints because you make them pay. You get your education funded, okay? They have various scholarship opportunities, and I'm going to put a link in the description box because I did not list everything. I listed quite a few, but not all of them. And for the Presidential Special Scholarship, it's a merit-based scholarship. Merit-based means it's based on academics. And this one is for high school students. And you can receive financial aid if you were to receive this scholarship for a maximum of 8 semesters. So basically throughout your undergraduate education, if you were to finish within 4 years, because as I stated, not sure how it is now, but most undergraduate institutions or colleges, universities, whatever, if it's a 4-year institution in the U.S., they give students a period of 7 years to finish their undergraduate degree. But for this scholarship, it can only be used for 4 years maximum. 8 semesters. It says a maximum of 8 semesters. And the annoying thing is that you can't change your major, so you have to be sure of what you want to do, and lots of people aren't sure Lots of people figure it out, but you have to be certain, because once you pick a major, you're stuck with it for this particular scholarship. And it's very competitive. Just looking at the standardized tests and requirements. So it says you have to have a minimum of a 1220 on your SAT or a 27 on your ACT, and then it says a 600 on SAT for math and a 27 on ACT for math. Then you need a 3.5 GPA minimum. That's doable. Then there's a 76 on the LAEKS. Math is, and that's for certain majors, and then a 61 on the same exam, but those are for certain majors. You have to maintain a C or better. You need to take 15 credit hours each semester, earn or maintain at least a 3.3 or better at the end of each semester. And then there's various scholarships like Edison International, first generation student scholarships, Florida Bright Future scholarships. So these, it's 3 awards, and it's based on high school academic achievement. Then there's the first generation matching grant. So a first generation college student and a first generation college or university student is a student who is essentially the first person in their family to go to college, and will more than likely be the first person in their family to graduate from college. So if you fit that category on either side, maternal or paternal, etc., 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 you qualify for certain scholarships or for this grant. And then there's a Florida Student Assistance Grant, which is need-based, so it's based on financial need, not academics. Then there's FAFSA. You have to do that first before you do anything. Complete FAFSA at FAFSA.gov. Then there's Federal Work Study Opportunities. That's for students to work while being in school, but that's for undergraduates, because you don't really get federal work study as a graduate student. Then the Pell Grant is also for undergraduates, because graduate students in the U.S. they don't get Pell Grants. African American scholarships, Burger King scholarships, Astronaut Foundation scholarships, Teacher Education Assistant for College and Higher Education Grant. So you could receive $4,000 per year for future teachers. 8th Millennium Scholarship, House of Blues, Music Ford Foundation, Healthline Scholarship, Innovation Education Scholarship, NAACP scholarships, UNICEF scholarships, so United Negro College Fund, Distinguished Scholarship Awards, etc., etc., etc. And they also got a George W. Gore Award. And then the many others includes the additional ones that I didn't list or didn't feel like listing. Oh, there was one that's particularly interesting. It's the Jeanette Rankin Grant, or Scholarship for Low-Income Women over 35. It's never too late to complete your education, and they'll fund you. More show me the money. More scholarship information. These scholarships are law school scholarships, and they offer various amounts. Law school is expensive. School is expensive in general, but once you start pursuing graduate degrees, the cost just goes and goes and goes and goes like the Energizer Bunny. So these are various scholarships that you can apply to, and they have various due dates that I'm not going to list because it would be too much, but the information that you need will be in the description box. It'll be a description or a link that can take you where you need to go. So they have 8 on-campus residence halls according to their websites, although it's only 6 examples listed here, but it says they have 8 on-campus residence halls. They have the FAMU towers, north and south, which are co-ed. That means everybody lives there, all students live there. There's another one that's co-ed, same thing, another one co-ed, same thing. Then, but Sampson Hall is male, and then Young Hall is female, and then the other one is co-ed. So as I explained in a different video, if like the Mississippi Valley State University video, if you're applying to or considering an institution or been accepted to an institution and you are going to be staying on campus in campus housing, luckily this school has various options, but if you don't, if you're not going to be in a single unit, I'm assuming that they will match you with somebody you know who XYZ. So I would say just talk to the housing department in terms of, you know, if you're intersex or trans, and you know, in terms of comfortability, etc., etc. So yeah, and I didn't list prices because I'm going to include a link for housing in the description box. Okay, so these are the student meal plan offerings. So they have mandatory meal plans, and then they have commuter plans. So commuter plans is obviously for students who commute, but they don't stay on campus. And then the mandatory, you get more, but it's only valid for the fall and spring semester. So eat all you can during that time period. 2 options. The first one, to go 400, is 300 less than gold, and then a RAL of 50 is more than the RATLA of 15. So the mandatory meal plans, it's all you can eat. It says 19 all you can eat meals per week. So you can only eat 19 meals per week, so don't go for the 19 meals, okay? But with the commuter plans, the first one, you can only get 50 swipes at an in-house restaurant. And then the second one, 15 meal swipes at an in-house restaurant. And then there's the flex blocks, etc., etc., etc. Campus life, I put career center, student employment, clubs and organizations, a few question marks, and that's like that because on the site, I went to clubs and organizations under the student union and activities section, and under that it basically lists the things that someone would need to do in order to maintain that particular club and organization, and it wasn't a list necessarily of the clubs and organizations. So I also put Center for Disability Access and Resources, but they did have like information concerning fraternities, etc., 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 and other organizations, and they have the Divine Nine, all 9. And I listed it. And then there's professional organizations, and then there's independent organizations. So they have something called Sisters, and I like the way that it's spelled because SISTUHS in all caps, Incorporated. And then there's Progressive Black Men. So any other organizations, you will have to speak to the student activities, but I'm not going to really read off the sororities and fraternities. Just know they have all Divine Nine, so whatever has been catching your eye when the time is right, pledge only if you want to. And then these 2 students are from FAMU University, and they represent campus life. Okay, in scene, this video was kind of long, but it was a lot of information. And I didn't even go through everything. So, the young man in this image, he's going to FAMU. He's been reading all this stuff. He's watched this PowerPoint and he's like, I really want to attend this institution. I have, we'll say he's a junior in high school, and he's interested. He's very intrigued. He wants to be a rattler, so he's gonna apply. Duh. All of the information presented in this PowerPoint is being used for educational and informational purposes only. It's always for educational and informational purposes. I don't do it for anything else. Any important information and additional resources are going to be in the description box below. Are you a future rattler? I hope so. It seems like a very good school, although the state that it's in is a bit mixy, but that's not the point of this video. But it seems like a really good school. So be well, stay safe, keep studying, take care, not in that order, but in that order. Thank you for watching. In the next video, I'm going to be doing North Carolina A&T. I don't know when it will be done. I'll say Monday, since tomorrow is the last day of February. But as I told you all, because I started on February 11, I'm going to do 17 videos. You're going to get it. And there's more HBCUs than that I did in February. So all the other schools that I didn't cover, you'll hear about them at a later point. Okay, thank you. Bye. Ciao.